Okay.
Brendan, can I ask you about the slightly sensitive one first? The club announced yesterday that Kuntop Iwat is going to be the new chairman, and I think we all realise the import of that sort of statement. What do you make of it, and what was the club's thinking? What were the discussions that have taken place?
Well, I think that firstly, obviously, after the tragedy, it was Kuntop showed incredible courage. You think his father lost his life here, and the very next day he was here, and I think from that very day he assumed the responsibility of leading the club. And any football club, and in particular this club here, leadership is very, very important. And like I say, from that day he assumed the responsibility that his father had taken since they both took over and worked very closely. And it's just felt really natural. He was obviously working very closely with his father for the previous 2 years, and really getting to understand how to lead the club. And of course, for me, since I've come in here, he's been incredible. He's been a real focal point of everything. And I think any good club needs that. They need clear leadership where everything's clear and yet there's a purpose. So I feel it was very natural for him to step into that. But it's also important, also I'm sure, for him as well to take on that role and responsibility. And then everyone has that clarity.
Thank you for doing that, mate. Let me ask you about the transfer window. How do you assess the business that you've done over the window as a whole?
Yeah, we're very, very pleased. We obviously had targeted a number of areas, and we're absolutely delighted with the players that we brought in. We lost a very important player in Harry, who was not just a fantastic player, but a really, really good man. I think what Harry did over the course of the summer was show how to conduct yourself, your professionalism, your respect for your club, for your teammates, and also showed that good guys get what they want in the end as well. So for us, it was always then going to be a very, very difficult market with other clubs, and if we were interested in one or two other players, but the club actually started to prepare for that eventuality a year ago. They brought in two outstanding young centre-halves in Kagler and Philippe. And of course, if we weren't to bring anyone else in, we knew we had those guys there, along with Johnny Evans, who is a top centre-half at this level, and obviously Wes Morgan as well, who's a great leader and great captain. So yeah, we looked, but obviously the market proved too difficult to bring someone else in, but we were equally comfortable working and coaching with the players that we have.
Was the difficulty the fact that everybody knew you'd just made £80 million from Harry Maguire, and so the prices you were being quoted elsewhere had just inflated massively?
Yes.
Simple as that?
Simple as that.
And I guess you expected that to happen?
Yeah. I think, of course, the club had every right to hold out what their valuation was for Harry. But, of course, with the timeline as well, whenever Harry left and for the money that we had, of course, then everything then was then going to be very difficult. One, because of the price, and two, because of the timeline was really tight. So to bring in someone else was always going to be difficult. But we looked at it. It didn't quite happen. But like I say, as a club, we're happy with what we have.
Is it something you might revisit in January? The reason I ask is that the squad you've assembled looks incredibly strong in every department. But you have been weakened in that central defensive area now without bringing somebody else in. And you mentioned the two youngsters there. Wes Morgan's told us he doesn't know how many games he's going to be able to play. It's probably the one area that you're weakest, isn't it?
Well, we will have a look. We've got Kagler and Philippe, who are young international players. Kagler's a full international, and I've been really impressed with him since I've come in. So yeah, he along with Philippe, Wise and Johnny, we've got four really, really good centre halves, and like I say, we'll work with them, coach them, and like I said, the young guys will gain experience, and then we'll assess it from there.
Let me ask you about Dennis Praet. How good is he? How's he going to fit into the squad?
Well, he's an outstanding player that fits the profile of player that we want. I felt that we had a lot of defensive midfield players, very good players, but all defensive in their mindset. And we actually, in terms of what you would call an offensive midfield player, we probably only had one of those in Yuri Tillemans. So I felt that we needed another one. I always felt at the end of last season we needed two, what you would say would be two attacking midfield players. Yuri we were able to sign, which was great news for everyone. And obviously Dennis was a player that we attracted and looked at, and obviously absolutely delighted to sign him. You know, he's right age, right profile, and we feel that he can continue to develop. And everyone we spoke to, you know, held him in real high regard. So we were delighted to get him in, and he'll really add to our squad.
Is he ready to play straight away? Can you throw him straight in, or does he need a bit of time?
Yeah, probably a bit of time. He's only started training back in the 14th of July. So he's going to need a little bit of adaptation time to come in. But watching him this morning, you can see his quality, and he's actually at a good level of fitness. But we'll assess that over the coming week.
What are the expectations, do you think? I mean, and I don't mean around the club necessarily. I mean your own expectations. What do you believe this squad is capable of yourself?
I think that the idea is to do our very best.
Come on.
But that is all we can do. We can do our very best. That's we've got young players that need improving, need development. We've got senior players who are absolute diamonds. They're, you know, great experience, big qualities. You know, we have a real strong culture and spirit within our squad. And we aim to, you know, everyone talks about getting into the top six. For us, we want to knock as heavily as we can on that door and push and get there. Everything shows you that it's getting more difficult. You know, the last couple of years, that points gap has increased between sixth and the other teams. So, but for us, you know, my time here, I said that we wanted to make European football, whether it's this year or next year, the year after, we shall see. But we want to go and as I said, push as hard as we can, do the very best that we can. And I'm so excited to see the team, because they'll get better and better as the season goes on.
I think, I don't know whether you've perhaps picked up on this from pre-season as well, but it feels as though there's an excitement around the supporter base as well. They feel that this is one of the strongest squads that they've had for a very long time. I mean, a couple of the players I spoke to on the Premier League media day said they thought it was a stronger squad than the one that won the title. And with you in charge as well, they're quite chuffed. So there is an expectation, there is a belief, there's a confidence there. There's an air of optimism throughout, isn't there? Yeah,
and you have to have that. You know, you have to have that optimism. And I think for us, there's expectancy, of course, but we embrace that, you know. But and we want, like I said, the players to feel that. But we have to improve. That's something that's just step by step. We have set our goals, our own targets personally in relation to our team goals, what it is we want to achieve. And then we're now getting ready to set off on what's going to be a long journey throughout the season. But like I say, the supporters have every right to be excited. It's a really talented squad. There'll be bumps along the way for us, for sure, when you've got young players. But no, we're really excited for the challenge, and we can't wait for Sunday to come.
What about Wolves? A heck of a first season back in the Premier League last season. They impressed so many people. Is the second season harder for them?
I think they've done fantastic. Watching Nuno and obviously in the Championship when they played a very clear way, very defined. One promotion, they've obviously invested heavily into their squad, but you still then have to synchronise all the parts of the team, and I think they've worked very, very well. And of course, they achieved European football last year, which was a fantastic achievement. So that'll give them confidence. They now come into the second season and looking to build on that. And like I say, they get some fantastic players. He's done a fantastic job since he's been here. And like I say, it'll be a tough opponent for us.
Thank you, mate.
Pleasure.
Ian, please.
Hi, Brendan. I wonder whether Filip Benkovic, is he fit? Is he able and available to play? And also, Wilfred Ndidi, is he match fit to be selected at the weekend?
Well, I think both those players have been working very well since they've come back. Wilf is someone who hasn't been out for that long. He's been away with the in the African nations, of course, and was off for just under 3 weeks. So he's a naturally fit guy, and he'll be in the squad for the weekend. And Philippe, it was just a case of building his fitness up. So, but all the players have come through pre-season really, really well. We've got no real injury worries. We've got obviously one or two little niggles that go back to pre-season, but other than that, we're a really strong squad, and we're all prepared and ready.
Are the principles this season different to you that you will try and build your success on, different to last season, do you think?
No, I think that for us fundamentally we want to attack, but to do that we have to defend well. It's as simple as that. So our idea is always to create as many chances as we can, score as many goals as we can, and play with a real intensity and speed in our game. So those principles don't change. We work on that. We'll look to develop that. And again, for us, it's bringing that tactical flexibility to the team this year, so we can play out of different systems. Something that we've looked at over the course of pre-season. But the principles are very much the same. Play well together, defend well together, and win.
Somebody who's not been spoken about a great deal, I think, is your goalkeeper, Kasper Schmeichel, who looks fighting fit, probably the fittest I think I've seen him at this football club. How big a season do you think it could be for him? Of course, there's slight adaptations in the laws that may aid goalkeepers who prefer the ball at their feet. How big a season could it be for Kasper, do you think?
Well, I was very lucky to inherit him when I came in. But he's even a better goalkeeper than what I thought. I always felt he would suit perfect to how I want to work and how I want to play. He's a real leader within the team. His standards are very high. He sets those standards, and he's been absolutely brilliant since I've come into here. And everything and how we want to play is based around him and how we can build the game. And I think this year, with the rule change, it makes it that bit easier for teams to build the game from behind. But you still need players with the confidence and that personality to achieve that. And he has all of that. Like you say, he's super fit. He knows that to be at this level and to sustain it and to maximise your talent, you need to be fit. And he's in great condition, and thankfully he's for me he's a top class goalkeeper.
You mentioned the law changes, or we mentioned the law changes. I wonder how you feel ahead of some of the adaptations in the laws of the game this season, particularly handball. Do you think that have you had to coach any differently with that in mind?
No, not really. No, we were given a very good explanation when we've had obviously the referees and the association come to the training ground, and obviously we had the Premier League managers meeting recently, which outlined the laws. So I think it's that bit more clear. I think there's some cases last year where probably teams and certain individual players were punished. Unfortunately, but I think this year that's been sort of cleared up, so hopefully that'll make it easier for the refs and obviously easier for the players.
Are you excited about the inclusion of VAR this season?
Yeah, I think it's going to go for you, it's going to go against you, but I think ultimately it helps the referees, it helps the players. Like, you'll get some decisions that will go with you and you'll be happy, and some that go against you. So, I think that we had a look at the VAR system when we were down there, and I think all the managers were in agreement. It was great to see it, to sample how it will work, and it'll be really good. So but there'll be some teething problems, I'm sure, within it from time to time. But I think it's good for the game.
How difficult is your 25-man squad, Brendan? Because you have a large squad, of course, not so many left before transfer deadline day. I just wondered, the likes of Adrian Silva, is he likely to get a place in your 25-man squad?
Well, I think, like you say, we have over that number, and of course there's still a European window for players to leave, but I've spoken with all the players in terms of where they're at. It's just unfortunate, like I said, we inherit a big group of players, obviously players coming back from loan. But I would think over maybe these next 1 or 2 weeks there'll be 1 or 2 more going out just to get playing, especially experienced players, to get out, get games, and like I say, go and continue with the career.
Finally, from me, what will be the sentiment in your message as you send your players out on Sunday for their first game of the season, and ultimately, as you've already admitted and alluded to, an exciting season? What will be the sentiment? I'm not expecting your message word for word, of course, but that you'll give to them.
Well, like I said, I think for us is to go and fight, go and do our very best. And like I say, you have to go and you have to work hard. At this league, you get nothing for free. You got to go and earn it, and that's what we'll look to do in every single game. Thankfully, the players do that in training. So we'll go out to give our best. We're out to win. It's a season where we start without Kunvichai. So really, we want to win for his legacy, for his vision. We want to win for the supporters. We want to win for ourselves and for our families, and that'll be our message. Is
there a feeling of that in the dressing room already about having a successful season for Kunvichai?
There's a feeling that we will work very hard, and there's a feeling that, like I say, we'll see where it takes us at the end.
Good luck this season.
Pleasure, thank you.
Everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going next door for the dailies.
Brilliant.